Warning, the following program was produced for traditional broadcast television. Over 12 minutes of commercials have been removed, but interruptions are still included. Thank you for watching.
What's the main idea that you guys are trying to get across in this book? Because this is a big release.
Blockchain is about people, about society, about empowering you.
Because there are so many books on technology. All the way through, we were thinking, what matters to normal, regular people? How do we actually put this within a human realm?
Zero-knowledge proofs are a technology that let you become a superhero of trust and integrity. So you can do all of this stuff, be trusted with what you're doing without revealing anything about your actions.
Government officials insist we will continue to keep you informed as this story unfolds.
Welcome to the Money Block with Matthew J. Moore, the Bitcoin-focused program that's waking the masses to the fiat money Ponzi scheme. Money is changing, and your freedom is at stake. So stick around and learn how to empower yourself for this new digital age. Now, here's your host, Matthew J. Moore.
And so, welcome America, welcome world. Man, I am excited today. I want to welcome all you Bitcoin newbies, lovers, and experts. This is the Money Block. And yes, if you're curious, we are syndicated coast to coast on Biz TV. And we have a real treat for you today, a topic that I'm excited to discuss. We're going to be talking about the launch of a new book of two gentlemen that I met not too long ago in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but they don't live here. But the topic of today is their book. It is Zero Knowledge, Infinite Trust. What does that mean? Well, if you're new to this space, you're getting ready to find out about all the wonderful technology that they are developing and have developed. On the line, I've got my guests, Eli Ben-Sasson and Nathan Jeffay. They are the authors of the new book, Zero Knowledge, Infinite Trust. But gentlemen, we got a short go at this first segment here. Let's kick it off and talk about this. Your new book, Zero Knowledge, Infinite Trust, just came out. But I want to ask you guys, what's the main idea that you guys are trying to get across in this book? Because this is a big release.
That blockchain is about people, about society, about empowering you. It does it through technology, but it's about people and empowerment, your money, your values.
I love it. Well, Nathan, you are the you've helped author this book as well. What's got you most excited about this release?
All of the things that you talk about on this show, Matthew, the idea that we can imagine something different, that we don't need to think of money as it's always been, supposedly always been, but we can imagine something different. That's what it's all about.
Well, when you say different, the technology that you guys work on, share a little bit about your company.
So our company, its latest valuation was $8 billion. We raised capital over $260 million from the likes of Sequoia and Paradigm and others. And we're a technology and infrastructure company building basically a layer 2 for Bitcoin and other chains. We have privacy, post-quantum security, very good UX. So it's basically expanding the Bitcoin layer to make it a little bit more usable and make your Bitcoin a bit more productive.
Yeah, and I think...
company is a...
Go ahead, yeah.
And the company is a reminder to anyone who's had an idea and people said that doesn't make sense, that sometimes it's worth looking into it because it's based on Eli's research, which was dismissed and which was refused for publication and is now an $8 billion company.
Wow. Well, it is quite the story, and I look forward to talking a little bit more about it along with your book. But before we dive deep into this conversation, because we have a limited amount of time in this first segment, just so people know, how can they learn more about the company and the book? Is there any places they can go?
So the blockchainthebook.com, that's blockchainthebook.com. And we're actually hoping to give a special offer on the book to any followers of your program, so they can put in the secret link blockchainthebook.com/show, and they'll get it for half price.
I love it. Well, when we come back from break, we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of this conversation because the Bitcoin space is moving fast. The technology they're developing is making a difference. So stay put. We're going to talk more about this in a way that you can understand if you're new to this space. All right, we'll be right back after this break. What does it mean to be physically, spiritually, and financially free? The right to life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness, these were the ideas that made America. But what happens to these ideas when America's money becomes compromised? What do you do when the very thing that you're working for day after day is fundamentally designed to enslave you? Whether it was a conspiracy or not, you won't believe what is about to happen in this country. Arm yourself today with the truth and build your life on the foundations for liberty. Rediscover freedom in the 21st century and grab a copy of my Amazon best-selling book, Foundations for Liberty. For just $11.99, you can support this radio show by finding a copy on Amazon or by going to mattjmoore.com. Again, that's mattjmoore.com. Don't wait, because freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back in action. This is segment 2, round 2 of the Money Block. You're here at the right time, right place, because if you're interested in Bitcoin, well, this is the show for you. Today, we've got a great conversation lined up. The space itself, when you talk about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, it's always developing, and there's always new breakthroughs. And the company and the people that we're featuring today have a book that they are releasing, and I'm excited about it because I met them not too long ago here in my own state, Tulsa, Oklahoma. But Eli Ben-Sasson, he's the co-founder and CEO of StarkWare, and Nathan Jeffay is leading StarkWare's PR, and they are the authors of this new book, Zero Knowledge and Infinite Trust. And so we're going to dive into that, figure out what that means, what the topic of the book is all about, because I think there's some information that is going to be it's going to be important for you if you're new to this space to wrap your head around, because like I said, these changes are coming at us fast, and the technology they're developing may play a big part in that. So let's dive into this. Nathan, I got this question for you. Our viewers, they're new to the crypto space. Some of them, very first time looking into it, hearing about it. But what exactly is zero knowledge proof? I think we need to start there. Explain to the audience what that idea of zero knowledge proof is, how your guys' technology plays into this idea.
So firstly, if you are new to the space, you won't be here for very long until you feel like a veteran and you're pulling people in, because this is a very exciting place to be. This is something that we're going to look back on and think, wow, we were here when the world was changing, when economics were changing. So essentially, you'll know a little bit about blockchain, you'll know a little bit about cryptocurrency, and cryptocurrency, the essence of it is cryptography. The essence is cryptography, and zero-knowledge proofs are a branch of cryptography that do remarkable things in all of the areas that we need most. So if you think that you have the blockchain and you want to turbocharge the blockchain with the things that you care most about, so you want it to do even more than it already does, what would you like it to do? I'd like it to be better at privacy. I'd like it to be better at protecting my private information. I would like it to be better prepared for the threat of quantum computing. I would like it to perform better at mass scale, so we can invite everyone to be involved in blockchain. Zero-knowledge proofs are the cryptography that do all of that, and Eli is one of the key pioneers behind them, so he can give you the scientific view of what's going on in there and why they're so important.
Yeah, it was Eli. I was going to ask you, do you have an analogy that you could illustrate mentally for people about what zero-knowledge proofs are and do?
Yeah, so one analogy is to think about, these Marvel superheroes, right? Each one has a unique power. One can see through walls. Superman can fly and has this immense strength. Spider-Man can, climb on walls. Zero-knowledge proofs are a technology that let you become a superhero of trust and integrity. When you say something, people know that you can be trusted with it. If you are asked to, let's say, to manage $1 billion of funds on behalf of others, this lets you be trusted, and it does so by use of math and technology. So it's really a very unique superpower that zero-knowledge proofs give you. They also give you an invisibility cloak, so you can do all of this stuff, be trusted with what you're doing without revealing anything about your actions. So it's this really mysterious thing. You can be trusted, but no one knows what exactly is going on. And all of this is not science fiction. It actually works in the field. My company has settled over $1.5 trillion of volume using this very technology.
Yeah, and there's things called snarks and starks, and you co-invented starks, but in simple terms, it's helping with even the idea of fungibility with Bitcoin, right? Because a lot of people complain like, "Oh, I love Bitcoin; it's good sound money, it helps me beat inflation, but I can't really use it in a private sense." So was that the original goal when you set out to do all this?
So when there was a moment when I had this eureka, this realization, this like a thunderbolt that struck me, that I realized that the math I was working on, publishing papers for decades on, suddenly had two use cases. And that moment, that realization happened to me in 2013. I was at the Bitcoin conference in San Jose, and I got off the podium and described this technology, and basically Bitcoiners like Greg Maxwell came over and said, "Oh, we can use it." So we can use it for two things. You can use it for privacy, for this fungibility, for shielding and cloaking your Bitcoin. That led me to co-found Zcash, which, over the past year has risen in price over 1,000%. Not investment advice, but it certainly is very much in the center of news these days. So I co-founded Zcash for the privacy use of ZK, but also this technology can help with post-quantum security and with scalability, and that is what we're doing at StarkWare, which was my second company that I launched in 2018. So both privacy and scalability in a quantum secure way is what this magical technology delivers and what we're working on.
And I'm assuming in the book you guys took these concepts of privacy, fungibility, the fight to safeguard things like Bitcoin from quantum computing. You explain it maybe in a very digestible manner for people new to the space. Am I correct there?
That's exactly what we set out to do, because there are so many books on technology. I don't want to read a book on technology. If you say to me, "Are you interested in iPhones?" Yeah, I'm really interested in iPhones. I'm interested in what I can do with it. Do I want to know the workings of the inside in the inside of the iPhone? Maybe a little bit, but I don't want to read a book about it. So all the way through, we were thinking, what matters to normal, regular people? What is interesting to regular people? How do we actually put this within a human realm? So for sure, you will understand from reading this book a little bit about zero-knowledge proofs, what they are. It's very transparent in the book, but it's telling a human story of where human society is going and why we need the different things that blockchain and ZK technology do for us. And it's all the things that we all know about. Do you care about privacy? Sure. Are you sick of living in a society where people make you feel like you're somehow questionable? If you want privacy, yeah, that's a problem. Privacy should be basic. Being able to have access to financial systems without always going through intermediaries, all of these things matter to regular people. And that was at the essence of the book. I saw my mother, I saw Ellie's father sitting on our shoulders as we were writing, saying, "Hey, why does that bit matter to me?" And if it didn't matter to them, out it went. We got rid of it.
Good. Because on this show, the reason why I do this show is I feel like it's important for the masses to understand this space in general, because even though they may not understand it at a technical level, the concepts, the ideas, just the overall ethos of the space, I think they need to understand, because it's taking over traditional finance. It's going to take over the world. It's going to touch so many parts of our life. And with the couple minutes we have left in this segment, can you make an emphasis on this? I'm assuming the book, you set out a goal to explain these things in a very easy, digestible way. But why is it important for people to grasp these concepts in your book, maybe just as important as understanding Bitcoin at its basics and why it came about? Like, can you speak to that at all?
Well, I think understanding what a technology delivers can, first of all, help you as an investor and as a financial person just to navigate your way. I mean, there's so much hype, so much fake news, so much, people trying to pull you in one direction or the other. If you're informed, if you're educated, you can make better decisions for your financial life. That's number one. The second thing is it's very interesting. I love reading books. And I think people, enjoy reading about interesting topics. And then a third matter is that, as I said, this is a book about the human aspect of Bitcoin and its potential. And it's a question of values, things like freedom, like power to people, like a rebalancing of society. And these are very important topics, and they're best addressed by reading this book.
I love it. Well, Nathan, do you have anything to add to that?
I think Eli summed it up. I think he said it all. And it's the values that you talk about as well here. So we're on the right level here.
All right. Well, hey, you know what? On this show here, we've got a QR code. You're going to see it pop up right over there. If you're interested in getting a copy of this book, buying one, be sure to scan that QR code, get out your phone, scan it, and we'll make that available to you guys. But in 20 seconds, can you share that website one more time?
Yeah, that would be blockchainthebook.com/show for your discount.
I love it. Well, guys, we got more to dive into in this conversation, so I want you guys to stick around, stay tuned. We've got more with our wonderful guests, and we're going to be diving deeper into this idea of zero knowledge, infinite trust. Really excited about this book. Stay put, stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is The Money Block. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is round 3, segment 3 of The Money Block. And we are back in action, syndicated coast to coast on Biz TV. And today we've been having a great conversation about a new book release that's hit the markets. And if you were curious about privacy and how ZK proofs play a part in it, because we have been talking about this, well, our guests are perfect for that, because like I said, we're covering this book called Zero Knowledge, Infinite Trust. What does that mean? Well, hey, stay put. We're gonna dive deeper into that. But on the line, I've got Eli Ben-Sasson and Nathan Jeffay, and they are with a company called StarkWare, and they are the authors of this new book. But gentlemen, I wanna pick up here with our conversation. One important element to this technology that you guys are working with and have developed is a lot of companies are adopting Bitcoin. They're adopting crypto assets. And one element of the cryptocurrency space and blockchain technology is it's an open ledger, distributed ledger, and it can be audited and people can see things, even though they may not be able to, purely identify your name to an address. But a lot of companies, they're excited because the digitization of assets are happening. But we're not so excited about maybe sharing elements of our business to the public. Well, once they figure out where these wallets are associated and who they're associated with, there's strategies on the line. There's overall company finances that can be seen, and payrolls and all this stuff that plays into it. So can you speak on how this technology maybe solves some of this headache for institutions, companies, maybe even small businesses who want to keep a little bit more privacy with their transactions?
Yeah, so very good question, Matt. I co-founded Zcash back in the day to solve privacy. Actually, I would love to have solved it for Bitcoin directly. So that was Zcash, which has shielded transactions. So you make payments like in Bitcoin, but some of them can be made in such a way that no one knows who paid, who received, and how much went through. That works well. We founded this in about 2014, and it's a separate blockchain. But now you have to ask yourself, what if you want to use Bitcoin, but you want to do it in a privacy-preserving manner? What if you want to use stable coins? What if you want to invest, do things like DeFi, borrow against your assets, and do all of these things in a privacy-preserving manner? So up until very recently, there was no good solution for this. We just came out with a solution for that, which uses basically a post-quantum secure version of our technology called ZK Starks. And using it, you could bridge your Bitcoin today, make them shielded, meaning that no one knows, how much you have. And under this veil of shielding, you can also do all kinds of operations like stake them and generate yield. You can invest them. You can borrow, dollars against them in a blockchain kind of way without going through a custodian or a centralized exchange. So basically, you can get all of the experience of crypto or crypto DeFi, but in a privacy-preserving manner, using things like Stark BTC, and all of this is available on our Bitcoin expansion layer, which is called StarkNet.
Yeah. And for those who are unfamiliar, the concept of having, your base blockchain layer, then second layer. This is a second layer solution. I think these, do you see overall the development of Bitcoin when it comes to privacy remaining on a second layer, or do you think it'll ever be implemented at the base layer?
I really hope it will be implemented on the base layer. For that to happen, you would need to do a soft fork to allow for things like either opcat or something called opstark, which would allow settling ZK Starks, this post-quantum secure, shielding technology directly onto Bitcoin. About a year and a half ago, I was optimistic that opcat is going to be adopted real soon. And we started, my company put a $1 million research fund into advancing or, understanding opcat. Today, I'm less optimistic about it. So I don't know when Bitcoin will adopt that. But the good news is that you could still do these things by going on this layer 2, this external layer that is called StarkNet, and you would still be the one holding custody of your Bitcoin. But now you can do this in a shielded way, and as I said, do DeFi, generate yield on your Bitcoin, do a lot of cool financial stuff.
And we had a really interesting conversation surrounding the launch of Stark BTC, which was very recent, actually on the same day as the launch of the book, because the idea of privacy in crypto has suddenly become even more relevant for a couple of reasons. First of all, artificial intelligence. People can take artificial intelligence tools and much more easily identify the ownership of a wallet. So people are able to take those tools, utilize them to say, okay, I can match this person with this wallet. And that has kind of cut through a lot of the privacy. So there's even more need for privacy solutions. And one of the really interesting conversations that we had was about France and the wave of crime in France of people being held up, actually held at gunpoint for their crypto assets. And again, that's made a lot more people think about the need for privacy. So no longer theoretical, very, very relevant.
No, that's true. Like I said, I think this is a well-needed technology, and this. I'm excited because the book that you guys have written is going to be very important for people to digest and kind of go down this journey about how this space is going to evolve and how this technology applies. But you guys also introduce this idea of a integrity web in the book. What is the integrity web? This idea? How should people, or even those who are in finance, why should they care about it?
So right now, 100 years ago or 200 years ago, almost all of the economic activity was done peer-to-peer between two people or two companies. And fast forward, over the past 50 years, all of our interactions became digital. That isn't bad. You have like the speed and, it's very immediate. But they also became mediated by, banks and nation states, and it's all extremely centralized. And we feel this, each and every one of us. We're losing control. We're losing sovereignty. We're becoming weaker and weaker as individuals. Same thing is happening to businesses. If you're not one of the, very, very big credit card, credit rating, banks, the financial, Wall Street industry, if you're not that, you are becoming weaker. Okay, so the integrity web is the answer to that. It's basically a rebalancing of powers. It's going back to what used to be the state of affairs before this digitization. And in the integrity web, using new technologies, you can have all the benefits of the digital world, meaning, the speed, the global nature of it. But you, again, you, Matt, become the focus of integrity. You can say to others, look, my word is worth what I'm saying, and you can trust me, and I can prove my reputation to you. And you can do these things without relying on third parties, like a credit rating score. You can do this using math, using blockchain. You can show that you have good standing, that you are a good citizen, that you have paid your debts. You can do this on your own. You get back the power. You earn money from it as well. But that's what the integrity web is about. It's about a rebalancing from a centralized world where, the big tech and finance companies control everything to each and every one of us is sovereign and empowered.
So to be clear, the integrity web is not a specific...
We've got to run to break. I apologize, gentlemen. But when we come back, we're going to dive deeper into this topic and tell people how they can get their hands on the book. All right, we'll be right back after this break. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back in action with the Money Block. And if you were curious, yeah, we are syndicated coast to coast on Biz TV. And if you're watching online, if you're watching on TV, because we are on online and television, but if you're online specifically and you want to tell us what you think about this topic today, be sure to give us a comment, like, subscribe, be a part of the conversation. In fact, we've been talking about a new book launch. It's called Zero Knowledge, Infinite Trust, with two gentlemen with a company called StarkWare. And these guys, they are breaking it down for us in a way that's easy to digest, the technology that they work on, why privacy is important, what this whole book is going to bring to your understanding when it comes to the cryptocurrency space. But we've got Eli Ben-Sasson and Nathan Jeffay, and they are, like I said, with StarkWare, but they're also the authors of this new book. Gentlemen, I want to pick up our conversation here, but before we do, I want to let people know that you're going to see a QR code. It's going to pop up right over there. And as we're having this conversation about this wonderful new book launch, if you want to get a copy of that, be sure to get out your phone, scan that QR code. You'll be able to grab a copy for yourself. I'd encourage you to do it because they break down these concepts in a very digestible way. But I do want to pick up our conversation here. Eli, this book starts with why blockchain matters, walks through Bitcoin's breakthroughs. But what is the biggest misconception that your book tries to correct?
I think the biggest misconception is what is blockchain about? Because we all hear about blockchain, well, either when the price of Bitcoin usually does something crazy, upwards or downwards, or else when there's some big scandal. And I understand, news is, that's news. But really, Bitcoin is about something, and blockchain is about something very different. It's about, first of all, people. It's about a new way to reorganize the economy and society and finance in a way that is a little bit more like the old days when there was more of a balance of powers between people holding gold, companies holding gold, and regulators and governments and financial intermediaries. Today, over the past 50 years, we're in this very uncharted territory where all of the money supply is dictated by, sign of a pen of bureaucrats. This started 50 years ago, pretty much, in 1971. And the second thing is that everything goes through a very small number of very powerful players. This wasn't the case for, millennia. So blockchain is going back to the good old days, and that's the misconception we're out to explain and correct about what blockchain is.
I love it. Well, you guys, the book has a whole chapter on roadblocks to mass adoption. In your own opinion, what are the biggest roadblocks still standing in the way?
No, Eli, please.
Okay, one of them is just ease of use. How easy is it to go in and out of crypto? A lot of it has to do with regulation. The current U.S. administration is doing, wonderful progress on making it easier for everyone. First in the U.S., but then the whole world will follow, coming in out of crypto. Another area is privacy. So our technology, ZK Starks, is a technology that offers privacy on top of blockchain. And the third big thing is scalability. Can you run this at a scale that is needed for our modern economy? And the good news is that ZK technology, this zero knowledge in the title of the book, is a technology that solves both privacy and the scalability for blockchain.
Nathan, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think that let's just talk for a moment about user experience, because we're all used to intuitive technology. And today it's not a generation thing. My mother, who's 82, she will pick up her phone, use internet banking, use health apps, all of that, no technology blocker to her at all. And essentially, blockchain has taken time to catch up with that, because everything that you do on blockchain is so much more difficult. You're doing something which is technically kind of a bigger reach. It's the equivalent of not baking a regular cake, but baking a gluten-free cake and making it the same quality, because the technology is tougher to work with. It's harder. But what's happening right now, which is really fascinating, is that we're seeing blockchain-based applications which are starting to be as intuitive as what we're used to, as intuitive, as easy. When Eli went actually for beer in a bar with you, Matt, he paid for his beer with Bitcoin. This is starting to happen. So at the moment, we're kind of forced to choose between, hey, do you want the idealism and the integrity and the kind of right way of doing things, the better way of doing things of blockchain, or do you want the convenience of the applications that you know? And that choice is going to be taken away. That need to choose is going to be taken away, and you're going to have the best of both worlds. And that's fascinating.
Yeah, and StarkWare has been answering the call when it comes to solving problems. And much like the internet was developed in layers, we kind of are assuming that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency will also be built in layers, and so hence the layer 2 solutions that you guys have developed. But do you think that's a proper analogy for somebody new to the space to realize, hey, it might be difficult now, but as time goes on and more layers get built, more solutions brought to the table, it's going to get easier, and it's going to have a user experience similar to the internet that everybody uses today? Would you think that's a right analogy?
I think it will have a sort of a phase transition. It's a 0 to 1 moment, just like, mobile phones were around for a while, but they were pretty clunky. And at some point, the iPhone came around, and then boom, everyone just moved to that. So I think same thing is going to happen with blockchain. For a while, it will be sort of clunky and similar to the conventional applications we have today. But then something's just going to go 0 to 1 that you can't find on the financial applications today. And everyone will say, oh, sure, I need this thing. Like, I can't live without it. So that's going to happen.
And we're starting to see this already with stable coins, with many people who are not interested in the ideals and the concepts of blockchain saying, hey, you know what? I want to move money in a way that when it's Christmas Day and the banks are closed, I can do it. And they're looking to stable coins, not because they believe in the infrastructure it's built on, because it's just better and more convenient.
Yeah, good point. Well, before I continue on the conversation, I just want to let you guys know, if you're watching this show and you want to get your hands on a copy of this book, you're going to see a QR code that pops up right over there. Get out your phone, scan it, and you'll get access and be able to purchase one of these books. I think it'll be very appropriate for your educational journey if you're looking to get deeper into this space. They do a great job explaining some of these concepts that we've been talking about today. But with a couple of minutes left in this segment, you guys do talk about things like stablecoins and AI. So, I mean, obviously your book touches on a wide variety of things, but even quantum computing is part of the conversation right now in the crypto Bitcoin space, because everybody's afraid that quantum computing is going to destroy this wonderful new invention. So what's your take on the quantum threat?
So quantum computers, yes, they're getting more and more powerful. And if a powerful enough quantum computer is built, then, Satoshi's Bitcoin and a lot of the Bitcoin out there and the Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies are going to be basically easy to grab and take, because you can find out the keys that control them. Okay, the good news is that technologies like ZK Starks actually solve that and make they're immune to, so you can replace Bitcoin stuff with stuff that will be post-quantum secure. And we're working on it. Another interesting thing is that even today, there is a sort of hacky way to preserve safety for Bitcoin, even with a quantum computer. And this came from a brilliant researcher who's the head of our application unit. He posted a tweet about cryptography that got nearly 2 million views, where he said, wow, you can secure Bitcoin from quantum computer today. So, there is hope, but also a lot of work to be done to secure crypto from quantum computer. And StarkNet is one of the best places to address that.
Yeah. So when it comes to StarkWare, what's on the horizon? What's the next thing you're trying to tackle?
First thing is privacy, making it in a way that is usable for, doing a whole bunch of things like investing, generating yield on your Bitcoin. So we just released a whole stack that allows you to do things privately for the first time on blockchain, but not just transferring coins like we did on Zcash, which I co-founded many years ago, but also to invest, generate yield, swap your tokens for other things and stuff like that. Next stop is going to be post-quantum security for Bitcoin, addressing that on top of StarkNet and on Bitcoin. And beyond that, we're building exciting applications for general usage that we'll talk about someday in the future.
I love it. Well, we're going to go to break here in about 20 seconds, but I'm really excited to finish off this conversation strong. I think we've covered some good ground and on some topics that really matter and are going to make a difference for people to wrap their heads around, understand. So if you're watching this show, stay tuned, because we got more wonderful conversation with our two guests with StarkWare. They got this wonderful book that I'm going to get a copy myself. So waiting for it to come in the mail myself. All right, guys, we'll be right back after this break. AI is here, money is changing, but freedom has never been more important. I'm Matthew J. Moore, the Money Block host on Biz TV, Amazon bestseller, and Bitcoin policy advisor. Book my up to 60-minute talk, Redefining Wealth and Freedom God's Way. I'll teach your church, business, or civic group how to secure money, freedom, and faith in the digital age. This is urgent, so I'm slashing my fee from $1,000 to $500. Cover my travel, and I'm there. Scan the QR code now. Spots are filling fast. What does it mean to be physically, spiritually, and financially free? The right to life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness, these were the ideas that made America. But what happens to these ideas when America's money becomes compromised? What do you do when the very thing that you're working for day after day is fundamentally designed to enslave you? Whether it was a conspiracy or not, you won't believe what is about to happen in this country. Arm yourself today with the truth and build your life on the foundations for liberty. Rediscover freedom in the 21st century and grab a copy of my Amazon best-selling book, Foundations for Liberty. For just $11.99, you can support this radio show by finding a copy on Amazon or by going to mattjmoore.com. Again, that's mattjmoore.com. Don't wait, because freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the final segment of the Money Block, and just want to welcome you guys. If you're watching on TV, online, doesn't matter where you're tuning in from, because we're all over the place, coast to coast on Biz TV. But man, this conversation's been great. We've been talking about a new book release, Zero Knowledge, Infinite Trust. And we've been, covering some topics that are important to the crypto space that this book addresses when it comes to things like privacy and the technology that StarkWare, this company StarkWare, has developed. And so on the line, we've got Eli Ben-Sasson and Nathan Jeffay. They are the authors of this book. And I just want to make this point. I've been asking a lot of questions, but I want to give you guys the floor here. Is there anything that through this conversation about your book, about zero knowledge proofs, is there anything that we didn't cover that you want to maybe mention?
I think there's a big question that's out there, which is that people say to me, say to Eli, I'm sure they say to you, Matthew, can you really imagine this change taking place in society? Can you really imagine us using a different system? And I say, actually, can you really imagine us carrying on using the same system? Can you really imagine us in 10, 20, 30 years' time having, being used to full control in our lives, being able to turn on our lights when we're 50 miles away, having full control over everything, but needing to defer control over our money to someone else, needing to make an appointment with our bank to ask them very politely if we can do something with our own money, being so dependent on centralized institutions for every aspect of our life. Can you imagine that we carry on living like that? I can't. And that's why I think it's such an interesting question, because it's not a question of whether things are going to change. It's a question of how things are going to change. And I've not heard a more convincing vision for how things are going to change than the one we outline in the book.
Very, very well said. Eli, you have any thoughts on that, or anything that we didn't cover on this conversation that maybe you want to mention?
Well, one thing that is important in the book that I just want to make readers who are interested aware of is we give our explanation of what really the core innovation of blockchain is. A lot of people talk about things like the electricity consumption or the fact that it's on the internet, but really we break it down into very human relatable concepts like, everyone is invited to participate, which goes very well with democracy and free society, or transparency. The light of day is the best way to make things clean, and a magical way in which we're actually incentivized and paid in order to keep the system operating with integrity. So there are beautiful, mind-blowing revolutions that Satoshi Nakamoto, the mysterious author of the Bitcoin white paper, unleashed into the world, and now a whole economy is built on them. But these are human principles. These are things about, it's not about math, it's not about code, it's not about computers, it's about human values. And I think that's a very central part of what the book is about. What is Bitcoin? What is blockchain to us, to people who are not developers or coders or even financial experts? What is it to just people who care about free society?
Yeah, and this technology, this space is moving so fast, and people are already, trying to hang on for dear life just to understand AI. And AI is going to transform our society as well. And everything is going to get more digital. There's going to be more technology, more breakthroughs. Things are going to move faster. So if you think that transacting from 9 to 5 and not being able to do stuff on the weekends with your bank, or just the opportunity to transact fractionally with this technology and have these smart systems talk to each other, these AI agents talk to each other and transact with each other. There's so much potential to this space and to this technology that if you're watching this show, I want to encourage you, get a copy of their book. They break down some really some complex concepts that are easy to understand, to digest. So I would encourage anybody to get a copy of this book. You're going to see a QR code. Take out your phone, scan that, grab a copy for yourself, because as time continues to move, things are going to move faster and faster, and education is going to be your number one tool to keep on track and to stay a part of what's happening in the world today. Gentlemen, one more time, can you share your website for the book as well?
Yeah, so the website for the book is blockchainthebook.com. That's blockchainthebook.com, where you have explanations, video clips, all sorts of great stuff. And if you go to the following link, then you'll be able to get it at a discount. That's blockchainthebook.com/show. There you'll be able to get it half price as a gift for Matt's watchers.
I love it. I love it. Well, overall, I mean, we've talked a lot about the book. We've dived into the topics that are within the book. But if you want one thing to happen from the release of this book, what's the one thing you wish to see happen with the release of this book?
I want people to say, you know what, I understand what blockchain is about beyond, the price of Bitcoin or the latest scandal. I understand what it may offer one day to me as a human, to free society.
Nathan?
Yeah, I want people to be able to imagine doing things differently. And I also want to take crypto out of its niche where people think you need to be an investor, you need to be young. You don't need to be young to understand this. There is no age barrier. My 82-year-old mother read the book and she had just one question for me, which is, so is crypto going to be big in my lifetime? I said, I don't know. That depends how long you want to stay with us, mother. But there is no age barrier for understanding crypto. It's a human thing. It's there for all of us, regardless of gender, regardless of age. It's just part of the future.
I love it. Well, I'm not going to give you guys. I'm not going to put you on the spot for any price predictions. But I do want to hear Eli's thoughts. He's working on this. Do you think what does the future look like in the next 2 years?
Well, things are going to be volatile, keep on being volatile. Right now, I think we're somewhere towards the end of crypto winter. Again, not investment advice, but definitely it's been a bit wintry for the past few months. That will end at some point, and I think we'll see more and more adoption with the wild stuff that is blockchain from time to time. So, stay safe, make your investments in an informed way, but get educated. Read this book, read other books, know what you're doing.
Yeah, very well said. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Again, their book is Zero Knowledge, Infinite Trust. Scan that QR code, get you a copy. I promise you won't regret it. You got to learn because things are changing fast. All right, we'll see you guys same time, same place. Adios.
The opinions and suggestions expressed on this program are solely those of the participants and are not necessarily endorsed by program sponsors or any station, media company, or platform broadcasting this program. This program is a product of Moore Media, LLC. The information in this broadcast is not intended as investment, tax, or financial advice. Matthew Moore is not a licensed investment advisor and speaks solely from his experience and opinions. All information in this broadcast is for entertainment or educational purposes only. Matthew Moore, Moore Media, LLC, and the company or platform broadcasting this program is not responsible for the success or failure of any person's investment decisions or purchases. Matthew Moore, Moore Media, LLC, and the company or platform broadcasting this program makes no and expressly disclaims all representations, warranties, and guarantees with respect to this broadcast and its sponsors. Investing in any market is inherently risky and can be financially dangerous. Invest at your own risk.